3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 1103. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting the subscribe button down below and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. If you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, thank you very much for your support and your help in helping me reach 300 subscribers, and thank you as well for your presence during this reading. So, starting with interpreting the number 1103, like usual. The number 1 is about connecting with your intuition and your faith. How do you feel called or guided to trust yourself or believe in yourself right now, or believe in forces, a higher power greater than yourself? I know that in general, having faith, having trust within ourselves and what is possible can be challenging when we've been disappointed a lot, and I am feeling connected to the Italian word delusione, which means disappointment in Italian, I believe. And that makes me feel like your ancestors are acknowledging something that you feel disappointed about, that makes you question yourself or your faith. And it's okay to be disappointed. That just means expectations weren't met. You know, like, what does that say about the expectations that you had? Were they realistic? Were they I wanted to say what God intended. I'm personally not religious, but if you are, maybe that message is meant for you, for those of you who believe in God. I do believe in a higher power similar to God. I will say that. And I do believe that everything happens for a reason, especially including things that don't go our way, or, just that disappoint us. There are 2 ones here, so, in general, while we're moving through the 1100s, it feels like it's really important to focus on trusting yourself and believing in yourself. Trusting your intuition, what you know, what you feel, even if that resonates for you. And believing in your ability to keep persevering. Maybe even to maintain your faith. Can you count on yourself to stay hopeful and faithful? I personally believe that's all we need to maintain our strength, hope, and faith. So if you feel like you can't count on yourself to believe in yourself and trust yourself, believe in the universe and have more trust for the universe, and ultimately rob yourself of your strength, it could be important for you to reflect on that and what that means. And it could be a deep reflection, too. So if it takes time to understand yourself, let it, and be patient and understanding towards yourself, especially if as a child you didn't really have the proper environment to learn how to be more faithful and, trusting of yourself. Maybe somebody here had a hard time learning how to be independent. That could just be confirmation that this reading is meant for you. I know in general, younger people are having a hard time not necessarily learning how to be independent. I'm sure there are people struggling with that. But I'm feeling more like just the way the economy is just around the world. So maybe there's something here about that. Moving on to the number 0. This number can be about recurring themes or patterns that are really, really important for you to pay attention to. And these patterns or these themes can be in the form of a spiritual communication with signs, synchronicities, readings even, or they could show up in your own experiences with the way that things align. And there could be a call for you to reflect on your past, to help you better understand why it's important for you to trust that everything happens for a reason. For what it's worth, I do believe that we go through the things that we do for a reason. We have the experiences that we have for a reason, especially those that bring us suffering and pain. I believe that there's really a lot to learn in the darker side of life, a lot to discover, a lot to be illuminated. I am feeling connected to the Major Arcana Sun card from the tarot. I just saw the number 654 on the timer. That's a sign to trust that everything happens for a reason. So I am feeling connected to the Sun card for a reason. It feels like there is something here that your spirit guides, and potentially even your ancestors, want you to become aware of, to wake up to. So pay attention to the communication, the patterns, the themes, and what they're trying to tell you or show you about yourself, life, other people. The other way that I like to interpret the number 0 is, just to remind you or confirm for you to know when to put yourself first, when to choose yourself, when to respect yourself, your needs, and what you want out of life. This message feels like it's like a reminder or a confirmation for you to remember the relationship that you have with yourself. Don't neglect yourself. Don't forget about yourself. It really is important to know when to choose yourself. When you need to be there for yourself, even if other people are there for you. There are some things that you can give to yourself that nobody will ever be able to give you. And, a couple of those things definitely being, trust and faith and feeling secure in who you are and the reality that the universe has given you. The last number, before adding them up, is the number 3, of course. And I see this number as a sign related to communication or using your voice or just like expressing yourself in some way. So if you do feel called to do that, this is confirmation or this is guidance, like, hey, it may be important for you to express yourself right now, whether it's to heal or to give someone clarity. Maybe it could be helpful for somebody. Especially because I keep clearing my throat. Maybe something here is holding you back from using your voice or being more expressive or honest, with yourself, to others. I also interpret the number 3 as being related to healing and growing and making a commitment to your psychological and spiritual well-being and allowing yourself to grow, to evolve, to change as a person, and allowing your reality to change with you. There could be something significant about aging here. It doesn't have to be though, so only take that if it resonates. There could be someone or something else here, like a commitment to someone or something else that you got to think about and, really figure out what you want to do, how you want to move forward. Do you want to walk away or do you want to change plans? Again, only take that if it resonates. And I just saw the number 111 as we established that number 1 is about trusting and believing in yourself. So as you're watching this reading, trust what resonates. Trust in your ability to discern what is meant for you and what isn't. And not just in this reading, but also in life. You know what you like, what you don't like, who you are and who you're not. Or maybe you don't. And it's really important for you to discover yourself more, understand yourself better. And that's where healing and growing could really come into play here. Expressing yourself as well. Is there some way that you could express yourself to better understand yourself? For me personally, it's journaling. I really like writing. It's really nice to see all my thoughts laid out. Helps me see things I wouldn't see if I wasn't writing them down. So maybe it could be helpful for you to start writing down your thoughts and your feelings, what makes you passionate, what you believe in. There really is something here about the power of writing. And it doesn't even have to be journaling. It could be like writing articles or books or anything like that. It is kind of crazy how long writing has been around. I was recently talking to a friend of mine about how, like, when you look back at history, like when we think about ancient civilizations like Rome and Greece, Persia, we think it's so far away. But my understanding is it's about roughly 30 people, like 30 generations. And when you look at it like 30 different people, 30 different lifetimes, it really doesn't seem as far away as it looks. And I find that very interesting. I also find it interesting, like when you look at clothing, how it has evolved. And it seems like it's a long time for us, but if you zoom out and you look at how humanity has evolved and changed and adapted, we're still learning how to understand our own emotions, our own spirituality. So even though it feels like we've gone a long way, when you look at a bigger timeline, it feels like maybe there's still more to go. I just wanted to put that out there. But let's go ahead and add up these numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 0 is still 2. Plus 3 is 5. And the number 5 is about change and transformation. I'm feeling connected to the word transition. Maybe you're going from point A to point B somehow, somewhere, some way. There could be something here significant about traveling. It even feels like your ancestors are pointing out something here about traveling, because I felt connected to the word viaggio, which means the trip or I travel in Italian. And I'm being reminded about how the reading before this, I also felt connected to traveling, because I felt connected to the Answer the Call card from this Ancestors Speak Oracle deck. So is there like a calling that you're feeling here, that you're listening to, that really feels connected to a sense of a purpose that you have or that you feel like you should discover? Do you feel called to embrace positive change, or just change in general within yourself and in your life? And if you do, this is confirmation of that. If you've already been embracing these changes, this is confirmation that you have been on the right track and the right path all along. I think the hardest thing about these journeys that we go on is being present, especially if the journey isn't exactly fun or exciting or entertaining. Maybe in your present life, your present day, interesting how that's worded because I was talking about like ancient civilizations, but maybe you could somehow incorporate more fun or excitement, like something that you have access to, potentially, as opposed to something or someone you don't have access to. Maybe you need a distraction to help you stay present, which is funny because we could be distracted by, dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Maybe there's a not so helpful distraction that could be replaced with a better distraction, is what I'm feeling. So yeah, whatever changes you're going through, you feel called to make, this is confirmation that it's the right thing to do, to allow yourself to grow and to allow your reality to change with you. So there could be something significant about an address or a song or a certain number. Maybe it has 4 digits. But as you can see, there are a few decks of cards on the table, as well as this baggie of folded up pieces of paper. And how this reading is going to work is I'm first going to draw out a major arcana card to kind of get like the big idea, the major theme, what big idea needs to be addressed or talked about here. And then I will draw a minor arcana from the Secrets of Tarot deck to get more detail into whatever this big idea is. And then I will draw one of these Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards to see what your ancestors have to say, especially because, I'm a strong believer that our ancestors have been trying to connect with us for a long time, hundreds of thousands of years. And so, to me, it's always nice to include them in a reading. But I will wrap up this reading by drawing out probably a few of these. Right now I want to do a few, but that might change, we'll see. But this, this bag has runes in it, as well as little fortune slips that I felt called to collect from my favorite restaurants. So let's go ahead and draw a major arcana to see what major theme or idea needs to be addressed or talked about. Again, the Sun card is heavy on my mind right now. Maybe there's something here that you're not aware of or that you're confused about. So I have the Chariot in reverse. And now I'm feeling connected to the word al contrario, which I learned recently. That's how you say, like when you say a card is in reverse, I think. I don't know. I use the translator. Who knows how accurate that is. But yeah, feels like your ancestors want you to say something about a setback, feeling, struggling to connect with your willpower, maybe too focused on the details and forgetting your motive, why you have the goals that you do. Feeling connected to the idea of some sort of distraction again. And I feel like at least one thing that could be distracting you is the details. Really getting worked up or frustrated or upset with, I want to say the little things, but obviously, it might not feel little to you. But what I mean is, like, when you think about the bigger picture compared to the details, it just feels like it's important here to remember the bigger picture, remember whatever sense of purpose or guidance you feel, however you feel spiritually driven. There could be frustration in this card, and just really feeling overwhelmed with self-doubt. You know, telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that. Just really limiting yourself with that phrase, I can't. And I am seeing the Magician card from these same deck of cards here, because it says, I can't and I can on it. So what are you telling yourself that you can't be, can't say, or can't do, when whether or not you can, you know, it's really the difference of whether or not you give yourself permission to try or to be, just to be. I also interpret the Chariot in reverse as your fears being in the driver's seat rather than your intuition and this sense of purpose, this drive. I think it might be helpful for you to really reflect on why you feel so overwhelmed. And, you know, find solutions that help you manage the overwhelm so you can remain focused on, you know, what really means the most to you and whatever goals you're trying to work on. Are you putting too much onto your plate? Are you, pushing yourself too far outside of your comfort zone? You know, I feel like it's important to reflect on these things. The Chariot has the number 7 on it, and I just now saw the number 222 on the timer. Starting with the number 7, I see that number as expanding your awareness and your consciousness and becoming wiser and really connecting with the deeper meaning of your own existence and just life. And the idea of expanding your awareness and your consciousness really aligns with the Sun card that I've been feeling. And I just keep feeling like there's something here that you gotta wake yourself up to. Or that you really gotta be honest with yourself about, or maybe there's just something new here that you really got to learn, especially about yourself. The number 222 can be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation that has come to mind, while doing this reading so far for you. I'm just feeling a little bit distracted right now. But it can also be about confirmation or guidance for you to, protect your peace or to create more peace within yourself, and to just really be mindful of the choices that you're making and making sure that, your choices align with who you truly are, what you truly value, and what you believe is truly right. Make sure you're making decisions, you're owning your own decisions and just letting yourself be yourself, express yourself, do as you would as yourself. Let's go ahead and get a minor arcana here. Now that I think about it, I might just get only one of these from up here, just because I don't know how much time I have left. So the card that I have is the 7 of Wands. And this has a lot of different things on it. I am noticing we have another 7 here. So again, what could you learn right now? What could you reflect on? What could you explore? What do you need to discover? This feels like, major questions right now. I just saw the number 444 on the timer. Seeing a lot of numbers for this reading. The number 4 is about stability, and it's connected to your ancestors. So honestly, it feels like whatever you got to learn or wake up to is related to stability. Whatever you're doing at home, in your personal relationships with family, at work, anything that has to do with your sense of security or safety. Maybe you got to figure out a way to ground yourself. That would make sense, because we were talking about overwhelm here. Someone here is feeling overwhelmed, and you have to understand what works for you to ground yourself, and maybe that's what you need to explore. What really works for you to help you feel grounded and focused, especially if you're in a situation that can be unpredictable and kind of scary. But this Seven of Wands card says defense, battle, success, pride, trust in self. We did talk a lot about trusting yourself in the beginning. We also have the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and the element of fire. The artist of this deck wrote frustrations. You are able to overcome your frustration. You are on top of the situation. A lot of things standing out to me here. The first one is trusting in yourself, and just, it really does feel like this is a call for you to stand up for yourself, to be the voice that you need to be for yourself, the fighter, the warrior that you need. I'm seeing the Have Courage card from this Ancestor Spirit Oracle deck in my mind's eye. So it feels like your ancestors are really encouraging you to have courage, to either have more faith in the better outcome, or to, allow yourself to face what disappoints you, or what could disappoint you, to be more accepting of when things don't go your way, or, even though you feel the fear, just moving forward anyway. I like to say, what is courage without fear? Another thing that stood out to me was frustrations, because I said that this card could also, it could be frustration in this card. And I really encourage you to reflect on whatever is frustrating you, whatever you are feeling at all, whatever you're going through mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It feels like you need you right now. And you need to, maybe put more effort into how you could better take care of yourself. So, whoa, this Ancestor Spirit Oracle card, it just flipped out, so I'm just going to take this one. It says Earth, Magic, Nature, Rituals, Charms. Are you into magic? Are you into that sort of thing? I don't have much experience with it myself, if any at all. So maybe there's a message here that only you might know, like something that you're doing with magic. Maybe there could be something significant about that. Rituals stands out to me here. It doesn't necessarily have to be about magic. It could just be about a routine. Maybe something you could do regularly to, help and support yourself. This card feels like it could also be a call for you to spend more time outside and to connect with nature, with Mother Earth. It feels like there's just, it feels important to really connect with your soul, the soul of the earth, the soul of your ancestors, your spirit guides. There's just really strong connection to faith. And the last thing that I have here, again, I want to say, what could you learn right now? We have the letter E. This is a rune, by the way. I think it's pronounced Iwaz. I'm not 100% sure. But it says Yggdrasil, endurance, ability to achieve goals with resilience. Very, very interesting. A couple things definitely standing out to me here. I think believing in yourself and trusting yourself will help you persevere, as well as be present. There is an answer here. Things can be easier than they are now. I just feel like you have to look within yourself to understand what that means, or how to achieve that. Or, how to achieve your goals, in a more comfortable way. Don't forget your goals and why you're doing what you're doing, because it matters. It matters a lot.